Okay, so onto the program. I was handed this responsibility this week. Some of the humor in here will not come from me, not all of it anyway, but from Rick Martini, who wrote it. I thought he did a marvelous job with it. He was going to introduce Frank last week. We just had a little scheduling snafu. It's all good. We're back in the saddle and ready to go. But our own Frank Phillips, is also our resident comedian, short jokes, fortunately, but most of them go over well. But so Frank Phillips is an SIU Carbondale undergrad pre-med student, anatomy and psychology major. The what? Yeah, whatever. It's a long time ago, Frank. I majored in female anatomy in college. At least in my dreams anyway. So sorry, Sam, just ignore I said that. And a chemistry minor, okay? Graduate studies in chemistry at the University of Houston, an MBA from Lindenwood University, PhD in environmental science. This is starting to sound like our student of the month. Certified hazardous materials manager, certified environmental trainer, environmental health and safety compliance manager at McDonnell Douglas Aviation, Midcoast Aviation, Cahokia, Moog Aircraft in California. That's a heck of a background, Frank, and congratulations on your accomplishments. But Rick Martini had a few things to say before calling you up. Life hasn't always been easy for Frank. He recently sued a major airline for misplacing his luggage. Unfortunately, he lost his case. Frustrated by that ruling, he showed up at a local bar with a set of jumper cables. The bartender was willing to serve him as long as he didn't start anything. I didn't write that. We all have our addictions. Frank once told me he was addicted to brake fluid. When I offered to get him help, he told me, that's okay, I can stop anytime I want. Glad I didn't write this. I'm happy to report that Frank has beat his soap addiction and is clean now. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank Phillips.
Speaking of luggage, on the way back from Africa, I just had to tell you how you don't always get real. So I had to take a late flight from Rabat to Paris and stay overnight. Stayed at a upper swanky motel in Paris. The next day, flew to London and back to the United States. Well, I have to tell you, it was really up class hotel. The bath towels, they were so luxurious and thick. I had trouble closing my suitcase. Anyway. Now, okay, thank you there. First of all, tell me what's in concrete. 3 things. What's in concrete? What's in concrete? No water. Water is what you add afterwards. What's in concrete? Cement, aggregate, and sand. Aggregate can be pea, gravel, rock, small rock, whatever. Okay, that's concrete. We're not talking about not concrete so much this session, but it is concrete thinking. I met a fellow with concrete thinking a few years back. His thinking was all mixed up and permanently set. Let's look at the slides here. My daughter wrote a lot of this, so there will be things in here which I hope we will modify just a bit. She has been here. It's Cynthia Phillips, PhD. She's been a guest here. Some of you have already met her. Let's see what's education. Okay. Proton, I wanted to tell you about a lot of, I'm a chemist basically by background. But a lot of the things that we run into contain either protons, neutrons, electrons, and morons. Yeah, in Africa, well, true. In Africa, the language is French. It was French Morocco for many years. The French controlled it for quite a few decades. Let's see, put that in there. Flew London to Paris, then to Rabat. And it's a little hard for me to read this. Can I read it up there? Maybe. Yes, that's better. From Rabat over to Uja by train, then that's near Syria. And they told us, see that over there? Past that airport, past the airport here, that's Syria. Don't go there. Stay with us. You don't want to be in Syria. So I took them seriously. Now there is the Atlas Mountains and a lot of wind blowing out of the mountains there. That was an issue. This is an environmental issue. I was over there consulting about complying with environment and with burning to keep a coal. Have you ever seen a cement plant? It's big. They're big. We'll talk about some, or at least one. I worked 4 years at Continental Cement in Hannibal. Had nothing to do with making cement. We burned 7 to 15 truckloads of waste fuel, off-spec material. Then anyway, from Uja down to Meknes Fez, and then over to Casablanca and back to Rabat. There are 15 cement kilns. What is cement? It's burned limestone. So when you see a cement plant, it's on a river. So you have barge traffic and then rail traffic for cement going out. And you have limestone, a quarry. Yeah, since it's burned limestone, you have to have the limestone. So it's always near a cement plant. What they do is on the face of the limestone cliff, they drill holes, and at 3:20 in the afternoon, they blast those holes, always at 3:20 because it shakes the town and people can hear it for 15, 20 miles. So they know when they hear that 3:20, they just made another blast. And then that comes off as big rocks, and rocks as big as your table there. So you can't burn out. You have to take it in haul trucks to a rock crusher, or to just a crusher. Then they crush it down into small ball sizes, and then they put it into a ball mill, 80,000 balls, most of them anywhere from 1 inch diameter to about the size of a shot put, 80,000 of them. And that crushes it down to a powder. Then they take the powder out of the ball mill, put it into the kiln, and it gets hotter and hotter. And when it gets so hot, 1,740 degrees, it turns into cement. So cement is burned limestone. They can add some things at the other end. I'm going to talk about the kiln that I was at was 630 feet long. That's as high as the St. Louis Arch. 19-foot diameter. Turn once an hour. It's on a 4-degree slope. So it's sort of like this. This would be like the kiln here. The flame is coming in here. The crushed limestone is coming into here. When they meet, it gets hotter and hotter. When it hits 1,740, it's what we call A light or C light, and that is cement. They can add metals as a good binding agent to the cement, and most cement plants do that. Fuel can be either coal, natural gas, or alternative fuels. We're going to talk about mostly alternative fuel. Why? Oh, at hazardous waste, it was at Hannibal. Now they burn strictly hazardous waste. They use propane or natural gas once a year to get the kiln hot. From then on, it's waste that comes in trucks. Issue is, we're in Morocco. Is there coal there? No. Coke there? No. They get the coal from Russia. They get the coke from South Africa. How do you get that there? On a ship? Oh, that's expensive, eh? And takes a lot of time and a lot of ships. That adds to your fuel costs. What I was over there trying to do was show them some compliance issues with the environment, smoke coming out and things blowing off, some other things coming out of the stack, and then how to get some free fuel from the United States. Show them that. You don't need that. This is just on the way, Arc de Triomphe, and these two slides. A year later, I was in Latvia and Lithuania, so they're not related. But this is once arriving in Rabat. That is Princess Anne's castle there, and this was the National Institute of Mining and Engineering in Rabat. And that's the first place I gave a lecture to. Here, by the way, on the back table, there's a Coke bottle with Coca-Cola in what language? And not French, yeah, Arabic. And a demi-tasse that I brought from back there too, if you want to take a look at that. And a map. These were the people in the class. There were 9 of them, 8 fellows and 1 female in class learning. And I challenged them with questions about how can we do this better? And they would come up with the ideas. This is me being chased by an angry Arab in the Kasbah there. I got away. That's oh, you saw me duck around the corner. Well, that is the quarry there. And by the way, it's the winds from the Atlas Mountains blow this. Now, that's not good because cement and the limestone dust is pH 8.5 to 9 to 9.2. That's bad for the farmers downwind because it's difficult for them to grow crops. So that was an issue. That's a 50-ton haul truck, hauls 50 ton of rock on its way to the crusher. These are kilns. This is not the kilns in Africa or Hannibal, but it does show you large kilns. The one in Hannibal being a very long kiln. They're not all that long. Actually, this should be higher. It should go up like this, but anyway, there's a cold in and it has a motor. And by the way, that turns it, this motor right here turns this around very slowly. And by the time the burned limestone gets down to here, it's called clinker or cement. This is a little better photo. It's on not quite a 4-degree angle, but there's a big flame on this end. Now, just extend this over 630 feet. That would be the one in Hannibal. This is just a diagram to show you that the flame is down here. Now, the flame itself is usually almost 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's fairly hot flame to keep all this hot as things come down here from this end. That's a ball mill. I don't know where that ball mill is, but I found the size. That's usually all the size, no matter whose cement plant it is. That's the ball mill that crushes the stone down into a powder. these are now some interesting facts that my daughter put in there. Some of which, okay, first country to recognize the US, I don't know that. Was that the first Arab country or African country or something? I don't know, but she put it in there. Forget that. Roughly 37 million inhabitants. It's about the size. Anybody know the population of Morocco? Okay, about in French it's Morocco, and to English it's Morocco. It's only 9 miles from Europe. What's across the way? Morocco, and yeah, okay. Mint tea is a national drink. I did not know that. They gave us Turkish coffee, which is hard for me to drink because I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker. A way to help. Now, Cynthia put this in. This wouldn't be us. This would be Rotary International, because we do projects like this. All right. Another way to help is, I don't see Bob, but hey, if we want to help in Africa, how about African Vision of Hope? Everybody know that they have their, what is it, September the 21st? Is there things that Windows on Washington? If you haven't heard of that, talk with somebody, because I'll be going. It's a great project and work that they do over there. Now, want to get to close this out, have a short video